How's it going? It's bigSHow, theGod here. And today's topic will be people. Now, I think I wrote this down as mindset. My mindset when it comes to people. So that's relationships, relationships and how they're measured, and how that supports the whole concept of the more I improve, the better everyone else around me is. And that comes from that creates my perspective of people first. Yet it may sound like it's me first because I'm being internal, but it's actually the external. So a lot of this will look like it's about myself, but that's the best way to be able to support other people. So as my other casts will go through, I do self-review, self-analysis, self-improve, self-awareness, self. Right? Now, all that culminates into how to have better relationships with others. All of that. And it may be difficult to understand, but it's a pretty simple concept. Every time I improve myself with evidence, with consistency, with a continuous timeline, with demonstration of that improvement, that has transcended onto somebody else in one shape or form. If I stay the same that I am right now, everybody that's connected to me will not benefit from anything more than what I'm currently doing. It's not to say you won't benefit. The point is, you won't benefit more. So if I'm not self-aware of stuff, where you'd argue that it's just because I'm ignorant, or I've just chosen not to, then no one else benefits from that either. You know, my advice is lacking, right? You know, I could sound knowledgeable about a lot of subjects. I could use experiences I've had. But unless I self-improve, I'm not benefiting others at all, actually. I don't want to overstate it. You know, you're going to provide value, probably. But I'm saying the more I widen my knowledge, awareness, and base, the more I improve myself. And it can't be what I would call linear. It has to be, I have to widen it. And linear to me is just doing the same stuff, but more of it. That's cool. But the moment you step into something that widens your knowledge base, that invokes emotion, that required a lot of focus and a lot of your attention. Every time you do that and you come out the other side and you analyze it, you look at the perspective of it, you challenge it, you review it. And every time you incrementally go, well, that's an experience I'll be able to use again. And every time you transcend that learning across all your other parts that you do, then that is the value you offer to others. Correct? So that sends me in where I use on this podcast is a mindset. It's a mindset that I have. And so learning more benefits others. Change, being open, listening, benefits others. The better I am at it, the more I do it. So that's kind of where that mindset goes to. So if we're there, that's your mindset. Challenge yourself on something, involve yourself in a project, improve, learn, fail, get through it, analyze it some more. That's given you experience, that's given you skills, that's given you more awareness of where you're not at, where you could be at, where it's more truth. And that whole process is more truthful. That benefits others. That benefits genuinely everybody around you. So what do we do? Knowing that, I tend to, with that mindset, with that understanding, I'm more motivated to be uncomfortable, to challenge myself, to look at something differently, listen to someone else's opinion on a particular subject. I'm more curious, I'm more engaged. That's my support to others. Right? So it tends to happen with that mindset. It's every time I learn something new, every time I listen to a quote or a topic on a subject matter, I can absorb a piece of that and I transcend it across to something else. It benefits others. Because part of that whole process is I'm connected to others anyway. Now, the better that relationship is with that person, the more they benefit from it. From my communication, from my touch points, from me being able to have a difficult conversation with you, from listening to you, from allowing you to take time, being suggestive rather than judgmental. All those things accumulate, right? So one thing I listened to this morning was a cool one. The analogy of ore in the water. So I did that at the last podcast. So I was talking about the boat. I thought about that quite a lot. To keep the boat moving, captaining your own ship, all that sort of stuff, right? So you're captaining the ship. The boat goes through rocky times, all that sort of stuff. And what do you ultimately have control over as the captain? Well, you're steering the ship, you're steering the ship. You actually can row the ship, and that's where the word oar, O-A-R. So you take ownership, you take accountability, and you take responsibility. And that's how you benefit everybody on the ship. You benefit everybody that's around it. Correct? If everybody does that, we're now a functioning team. Ownership, accountability, responsibility. And people will say, well, hold on, it's got nothing to do with other people. In a sense, that's correct. It's more from a mindset that whenever we have a problem to solve, whenever there's issues coming out of our surroundings or coming from the problem, we, with a mindset of self first, what can I do? Generally, those three things are what I can do. There's other things I can do. I can blame somebody. Doesn't mean I don't analyze it. I can talk about what someone else didn't do or did do. I can continue to give reasons why they didn't do it. But if we stick to the hello. Is this my daughter coming through? Threw me off a little bit there. So with the or, ownership, accountability, responsibility. Funny thing with her, a good example was last night we had some cool things. had a bit of debt that she was got herself into about a couple of years ago. And I'm pretty good with numbers, if I don't say so to myself. But we managed to talk through, and in my opinion, it's really a journey for her to go through. And it was cool last night because she came in and was all excited about how she'd paid off her debt in 12 months. And she, me being curious, we talked about the journey, not just the physical part of it, but the emotional part of going through that. And I know instinctively a year ago, I wanted to do more. I wanted to solve the problem. And I had to check myself a bit, because you benefit more if you solve it yourself with some support is fine. Correct? And so in my opinion, she used the or. She had to take ownership. She had to take accountability, and she took responsibility. Now, in a way, I would have taken that away. Yet, my opinion is the value was that she's at this point now. We've got a lot of learnings from it, got a lot of things, and we can together we can look at things, and I can give my perspective of that. It's still your journey. It's still your boat. You're steering your boat. I'm not steering your boat. I can show you how I'm steering mine. I can give you an opinion or perspective of how I'm steering this boat, but that's all. So it's cool. It's cool because everyone has their own ways of viewing these types of things in their own. And having this type of mindset enables me to not be, or to keep recentering myself and saying, what value can I provide within the problem, within the system? And that's why I share what I do. I'm very open to letting people know how I do it and what I do about it. I will be suggestive. If someone brings a problem to me, I'll give a suggestion. Sometimes it's a riddle, and that's on you. And then how they take it, how they move with it. I notice you give some time, and they're more responsive that way. So that's how the or method kind of transcends. Because the way to look at that is, I have a mindset in saying what ownership, accountability, responsibility for myself is how I'm benefiting others. How do I practice that? Is continuing to do those things. And that's the advice. If that's the advice I'm ultimately trying to give to people I value, then do it. Then that should be the ultimate thing I'm doing. Correct? If health advice is, look, recommend you exercise every day, or half an hour a day, every second day, or whatever the system is, right? That's the advice. That's what the science says. It's what it implies for lots of reasons. And you don't do it. But that's your advice. That seems odd. It seems the oddest thing. And so taking that as like a very obvious thing, we can go into I can go into any pillar, from nutrition, from career, from relationships, from anything. And you don't do it. That's the oddest thing to me. If that's your advice, or that's what you've read, that's the knowledge you have, that's what you've learned, and you don't do it, that doesn't make you make no sense. And I'm not sure I'd take that advice from you. Take it from someone else, I guess. That's my point, right? So it's a challenge to encompass this at a level. But with the mindset of people, others, relationships, you have that from the self outwards first. And that's always enables me to recenter within that. So every time I have a discussion and a problem to solve, or a learning to be taken in, I can use that mindset to help me along the way, to support that, which is supporting everybody else around me. So yeah, so that's the main piece there. I think I wanted to get into the blame side of things, because don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. When when we do an analysis on something, there's people involved. The points within the problem will be associated with this person here, this person here, this person here in the line, right? If we have where you're making burgers, that person, if the burger is incorrect, it's got cheese on it, and I didn't want cheese, it's ultimately somewhere in there. So we've got cheese, yes, we've got the thing that's there, and it doesn't have cheese. Where's the problem? Well, it's there. You know what I mean? So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, oh, I need to take ownership and accountability of that. Yeah, well, yes, you do. And you're going, well, hold on, how come the cheese is there, the burger's there, he's responsible for putting the cheese on the burger? He didn't put the cheese on the burger. How is that me? I know. It sounds difficult, doesn't it? But understand, it is you. That is all you have control over. But it seems like a lot of work. And it is. So I can I can look at that and say, well, I'll make the burger. Okay. That wasn't the only thing you could do. With this type of mindset, I'm now not hyper focused on here. It's still a piece, right? So we got here. We go, well, who does this person report to? Oh, it's got a manager here, apparently. That's the problem. That person's the problem. Okay. You know what I mean? That's right. They need more of this. They need more of that. Okay. Okay. You can continue down that spiral. Oh, now that's blaming that person there. The ultimate mindset is to continue to reflect like that, but still putting in the piece of, where's my accountability to this? What's my responsibility to this? What else can I do? What more can I provide? And it's not easy. It's not easy. But it reshapes the culture of how we're viewing the problem. And we'll generally come back to a more positive concept of what else can I do here? What more can I do? I think is what I'm looking at. And the self-awareness to realize that most things I'm doing is blaming someone else. And the more, I guess, we're looking at that example, and to look at that example and go, it's definitely got nothing to do with me. I'm over here. I had nothing to do with it. Okay. But the more you understand and really challenge yourself by saying, there's more I can do, the more you can challenge that outwardly. So your outward will translate the same thing, because you get focused on the person or you are here who are the problem. Whereas when you do it the way I'm suggesting, that then translates as it's me first. What support can I provide? What influence can I have? Now, if the blame is the way I'm attacking this, approaching this, even though I think I'm not, I think I'm helping. When we want to discuss what's going on and how we talk about it, when I have a mindset of me and what's my responsibility first, that changes this whole problem. And that transcends over. But it doesn't always look that way, because there's always questioning going on here. So this what's part of my responsibility? Well, we start using some of our other tools, some of our other values, being curious, I'm curious to myself. I challenge myself. I look at myself. Well, it's my responsibility then, isn't it? So it's my responsibility to ask more questions, to inquire some more, to be more curious. Now that's invoked, correct? That's part of how I take ownership. It's part of how I took responsibility. Still my action. My action are the questions I'll ask. My actions will be having a difficult conversation. Understand, it still has the mindset of ownership, accountability, responsibility. It does not have a mindset of blame that person. There's a difference. Big difference. I can tell them what to do. I can think, okay, that's separate. Now we're talking into, it's back to blame. It's back to me solving the problem. It's back to me dictating. Correct? Good luck with that. I can make suggestions. Are they my suggestions or your suggestions? What's my responsibility in this? How am I taking ownership of this? And it's tough because patience will be required. Difficult decisions will be required because through those types of engagements, you have to be able to build in real time what's actually going on, what's actually being done or not being done. Is the process okay? Could it be better? Is the system clear and visible? All these types of things, right? And a lot of these will send you to somewhere else, and that in itself will give you more awareness to yourself. So in my opinion, when you have that mindset of self first, every time you look at a project or a problem or solving, that reduces the blame. Being curious and asking questions and enables the relationship to come through, to use honesty and trust and values and all that sort of stuff through that engagement, which is better already. And then from that, regardless if they make a mistake again or not, regardless, still a better culture, still a better process of working through it. And those are ultimately the same processes that I work on myself. So yeah, those are how I view relationships and the mindset of other people. And it's kind of an evolved thing. And then just improving some of my engagements with others and it's come from a mindset of this. it tends to improve progress. I tend to be able to look at people a lot differently. I'm still judgmental. I still am what I am. I still have very strong opinions on particular things and particular way people are. But that's because it continues to be validated. So there's a difference. One of the things that comes out of this, for me anyway, is that by doing this type of process, what I'm saying is, what's my responsibility to ask, be curious? What's my responsibility to ask curious questions, to have difficult conversations, to bring up a subject that's going to offend, that's going to be, in its context to whatever this is, to find out, to get to put things on the table that emotionally might hurt both of us. Well, have I got enough of a relationship to be able to do that with you? How do I know? How do I know if I don't challenge it? How do we work through this? I do this to myself. So if I'm doing it to myself, if I do it to others, it's going to benefit others. Yet it may not look that way, depending on where they're at, where their perspective is, where their mindset is. That's okay. It makes no. Well, which one? What should I do? So I've got two options. I can do nothing, or I can offer what I've learned and what I've practiced and what I prescribe to, and continue to do it. Yeah, I'll fail. Yeah, I'll make mistakes. I'll say things that offend you. But that was me supporting the process. It was me sharing what I honestly thought. I mean, 9 times out of 10, when I have these discussions, other people, they already thought it anyway. Well, that's cool. So let's put it on the table. Now we both think it. We both know it. We're both using it. Now what? Well, here's what I would do. Here's what I've done with that same example. That's it. That's my suggestion. This is what I've done. It's not what you should do. It's not what. Here's what I've done. So you see how that's flipped around? And if I don't know what I would do, I don't know. I would use the same processes and systems within it. I'd use some scientific methods. I'd get more advice. I'd go research. That's still ownership. There's still accountability. There's still responsibility. Right? It's me to go learn some more as well. I didn't take that off anybody else in this room. My suggestion is you do the same. It's a choice. That's the mindset. And it's not just words, right? You can't tell me, no, I've learned that. No, got that. No, you're right. I'm going to go do that. Okay. Well, those are actions. You didn't even have to say it. The saying reassures me. Okay. To some extent, gives me something else. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear? They've said they're not going to make that mistake again. Well, that doesn't. Well, we see the problem again next week. And we say, oh no, what they're going to do is they're going to put the cheese in front of us so that the cheese gets on the burger. Okay. That's your solutions. It's the solutions to having the cheese on the thing. maybe it's, maybe it's better that we get over that the cheese ain't going to be on there sometimes. And we work on apologizing about the no cheese. I can't accept that. I can't accept it. I can't accept it that you're going to make a mistake. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Do you make a mistake? Well, I think so. Okay. You go work on your mistakes, and you never make a mistake, and then you show me how to do it. You show me how to never make a mistake. Right? You see how we get there? We get to everything in a certain way. Doesn't mean we aren't curious. Doesn't mean we don't make adjustments. Doesn't mean we don't continue to progress and measure these things and measure how many burgers went out without cheese on it. Well, you had 10 last week, but now we had 5 this week. So we have 5, or we celebrate the 5, or we don't like the 5. 5's our new problem. In the whys, the hows, the wheres, the whats. Cheese was in the right place. Yes, the cheese was in the right place, but what happened was blah, 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 blah. You with me? And it's how we can continue to be curious and continue to work through those. Interesting, right? And I know I touched on those, which are the less pragmatic, but I know for a fact that people that are process only minded will undeniably disagree with everything I've said. Without a doubt, will disagree. And that's okay. It makes no, I'm fine with people disagreeing with me. You're wrong. You're wrong for a start, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. It's more on viewing the problem from a mindset of self first. What's going on with yourself when you're dealing with this problem, or this issue, or this comment, or this, in what context it means, in what context you can take it to. And I guess that's the essence of the relationship. And the complexities of other humans, and myself included, will lead you to this type of mindset. Once the awareness is there of what I'm trying to say, I think. Because I don't think I'd listen to this and go, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. That was, I've got to take ownership and accountability of that. He didn't put the cheese on the bun. Yeah, but that person did it. Yeah, that's the problem. The cheese was there. Didn't put it on the bun. Got it. You see, and then that's the illogical kind of sounding part to it. In the I guess how I get there too is that when you have a mindset of going, well, I'd probably forget to put the cheese on there too. How many of these am I doing a day? 450 burgers, some with cheese, some without. I reckon I might forget to put the cheese on one. Right? I reckon I would. And that's part of it. To that brutal honesty of going, well, I can see me making that mistake. In fact, I did it yesterday. In fact, I did it on the way here. You know what I'm saying? A similar type of thing. So for me to be angry, upset, and annoyed, and show all this sort of stuff, what does that do? How does that transpose over to here? Ooh, he's going to be angry. Really? Who gives a shit? What did that achieve? How did that support the process? So understanding that accountability can come in different ways. My responsibility would be to check myself, to understand the emotions I'm going through within the situation. Because the drive to accepting that I'm responsible for this and that it was me becomes difficult. Because I have to answer for it. And then if I'm answering for it, if I'm answering for that burger being incorrect, and now I've got to answer up here, what's my responsibility through that? To maintain this level of honesty, to share and blame and show my frustration, to continue to answer the questions that come from it. Because this person here is equally curious and responsible and wants to ask these questions, correct? So that can be a difficult process to go through. And I guess the point is that I can continue to blame. And a lot of times that may seem logical, and it may seem easier, and it may seem like the better path. It's just to say, yep, it was that guy over there did that. What are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? And I find myself being more engaged in finding out, well, from my questioning, do they have the mindset of people, of themselves first? Do they? Maybe we can share a story on that. Doesn't mean I overlook everything. Just means that that's a piece to consider in the patience of things. And the more up the levels we go, the more we realize the same attitude we have here with this example that's away from what we have with the examples that are right up in front of us. So the person I'm engaged with, who I may perspectivize or view as me being accountable to, responsible to, I show the same way of viewing it, of self first. Ownership, accountability, responsibility. Because then I have the same, it makes no difference who you are, what level of hierarchy you determine we are. The values are the same. Now, it's easy to get questioned as to go, well, what happens if this person doesn't have those values? Makes no difference. It's fine. And it's a difficult road to walk down, but that's part of the journey. Self-awareness is difficult. It's difficult to get over your own perspectives that you carry around every day. It was an example is like when I used to know if you went home an hour early and you thought when you left, the person you report to doesn't know that you've left. And you carry that around. And you carry that home. You think you're not. But you are. You get that peace in there. And then your self-awareness says, well, how come? I'm perfectly fine doing this. And you can carry that around. And the truth is, you've got that level of dishonesty there. And so if you've got that level of dishonesty to yourself, no one else is saying that you do. How's that transcending over? If that's some doubt you've got, that's some anxiety you've got from that act. Where does that take you? It causes a whole lot of other things to carry on, correct? So it's not a straight line on how you internalize things and deal with things that probably will not change. It will still be there. It will be a daily thing. But as a small subset of how you can take ownership of that and your self-awareness to that, and then what do you do about it? That would suggest that my relationship with that person over here, is there something more that I could do there? Is it with me? Is it my mindset? Is it my head that's having this doubt? And then you can share that. You can question it. You can be curious about it. Where did that take me? Share that story with someone. Share that story with someone who might even judge you for it. It's not about them saying, no. It's fine. It's generally to go, because that provides no use, right? It's looking at it and saying, I have these feelings about that. Will they always be there? My experience so far, they just will be. Those feelings will be there, whether I want them to be there or not. So that's cool. So I'm aware of that now. It's all about how I react to them. It's all about how I can move through them. So yes, I think that's enough ranting.